for the DCT 2018 under the branch Computer Science and Engineering. For the question paper code is A, and I selected subject called Digital and Computer Fundamentals because in previous year they asked 10 questions. Okay, and we will try to solve these questions one by one. In that, the question number 81: what logic function is produced by adding an inverter to the output of AND gate? We have four options: NAND, NOR, XOR and OR. Okay, what is meant by logic function? A logic function is the operation performed by the logic gate whenever a input signal is applied to it. In digital electronics, the input signals are 0 and 1 only. Similarly, the output produced by the logic gate is also in the form of 0 and 1 only. Similarly, there are 7 logic gates. Okay, they are AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, NAND gate, NOR gate, XOR gate and XNOR gate. There are 7 logic gates. In that, these 3, that is AND or NOT, is called as the basic gates. These are called as the basic gates. Similarly, NAND and NOR called as the universal gates. Universal gates. For AND symbol, for AND gate, the symbol is like this. For OR gate, the symbol is like this. Okay, for NOT gate, this is the symbol. Okay, similarly for NAND gate is produced, okay, whenever an inverter or the NOT gate is placed at the output of the AND gate. NAND gate is produced whenever an inverter or the NOT gate is placed at the output of the AND gate. Similarly, NOR gate is produced whenever an inverter is placed at the output of the OR gate. And for XOR gate, this is the symbol. For XNOR gate, this is the symbol. The XNOR gate is produced whenever an inverter or the NOT gate is placed at the output of the XOR gate. So for question number 81, the first option, that is NAND gate. An inverter, by adding an inverter to the output of the AND gate. Whenever we add an inverter, okay, at the output of the AND gate, then it becomes NAND gate. So the right option is first one for question number 81. The question number 82, the function of a multiplexer is, we have four options: to decode the information, to select one out of n input data sources, and the third option is to transmit the data on n lines, and the fourth option is to perform the serial to parallel conversion. What is meant by multiplexer? A multiplexer is a device which selects or allows the one input from n input signals, and that one input is transmitted on a single channel. Multiplexer is a device that selects or allows only one input, from n number of input lines, and that one input is transmitted over a single channel. Multiplexer mainly consists of three parts, that is input lines, select lines and the output line. Okay, the input lines and select lines are related in a such a way that for n number of select lines we have 2n input lines. Okay, for example, consider 2:1 mux. Okay, here 2 represents the input line and 1 represents the output line. If you consider 2:1 mux, okay, 2 input 1 output, 2:1, here the exponent term is 1, so we have 1 select line. Similarly for 8:1 mux, for 8:1 mux we have 8 input lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1 output line, here 2:3 becomes 8. So the exponent term is 3. So we have 3 select lines. Okay, So the right option for question number 82 is second one, to select the one out of n input data sources. That means for 2:1 mux, consider this is the 2:1 mux. This is the 2:1 mux. This I0 and I1, we have one select line and one output line. For select line 0, I0 input is transmitted. Okay. For select line 0, I0 input line is selected and it is transmitted. Similarly for 1, when the select line is 1, then the input line I1 is selected and it is transmitted. So the right option is second one for the question number 82. Question number 83, the full adder adds the kth bits of two numbers to the, we have four options. The first one is difference of the previous bits, the second one is sum of all the previous bits, and the third option is carry from the k minus 1th bit, and the fourth option is sum of previous bits. Okay. For full adder is a combinational circuit that has two input bits and one carry bit, along with it has two output bits, that is one sum bit and one carry bit. And this question can be answered by taking one simple example, that is consider two inputs of 5 bits. Okay, this is the 5 bit one input, that is A0, A1, A2, A3 and A4. Similarly for B input, we have 5 bits, that is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. Take any example. Okay, this is B0, this is B1, this is B2, this is B3, this is B4. Totally we have 5 bits. Okay, for 5 bits we have 5 full adders. For 5 bits we have 5 full adders. 5 full adders. Okay, this is 0th full adder, this is first full adder, this is second full adder, this is third full adder, and this is fourth full adder. Okay, and this is A0 and B0, these are the input bits, and C in, and it is always 0. Okay, similarly for this is A1 and B1, these are the input bits for the first full adder. Similarly for this is A2 and this is B2. Similarly for this is A3 and this is B3. Similarly for A4, B4, these are the input bits. Okay, input bits for the corresponding full adders. Consider it here A0 is equal to 1, B0 is equal to 1, A0 1, B0 1, C0 has to be considered initially as 0. So for 1 1 0, for 1 1 0 we have sum 0 carry 1, sum is equal to 0 and carry 1. Okay, carry 1, and this carry is generated from 0th full adder, so we have to consider it as C0, and this C0 is applied to the next full adder, that is first full adder. Okay, here A1 value is 1, B1 is 0, A1 0, 1 0 1. For 1 0 1 we have sum 0 carry 1, sum 0 carry 1, and this carry is generated from first full adder, so it has to be taken as C1, and this is applied to the next full adder, that is second full adder. Here A2 is 0, B2 is 0, 0 0, sorry, A2 0, B2 1, A2 0, B2 1, for A2 0, B2 1, and C1 is equal to 1, for 0 1 1, for 0 1 1 sum 0 carry 1, sum 0 and carry 1, and this carry is generated from second full adder, so we have to consider it as C2, and this is applied to the next full adder. For A3 we have 0, B3 1, 0 1. Okay, 0 1, and we already have C2 as 1 for 0 1 1, for 0 1 1 sum 0 carry 1, sum 0 carry 1, and this carry is generated from third full adder, so we have to taken it as C3. Okay, and this is applied to the next full adder, that is fourth full adder. Here A4 value is 1, B4 is 0, for 1 0 1, 1 0 1, for 1 0 1 we have sum 0 carry 1, sum 0 and carry is 1. We are getting carry is 1 and this carry generated from 4th bit, so we have taken it as C4. Okay, so for consider here, for 4th full adder for 4th full adder we are adding carry from C3 bit, from C3, that is C3 is generated from 3rd full adder. Okay, similarly for 3rd full adder C2 carry is added. So for kth bit, for kth full adder or for kth bit, k minus 1th carry bit has to be added. For 4th full adder C3 bit is added. Similarly for 3rd full adder C2 bit is added. Similarly for kth full adder or kth bits, k minus 1th carry bit is added. So from above options, the third option is the right option. The question number 84, the number 84 in BCDs, we have 4 options: 1300, 0100, the second option is 0100, 0100, and the third option is 1300, 1010, and the fourth option is 1300, 1100. BCD is abbreviated as binary coded decimal. It is a numeric code in which each digit of a decimal number is represented by separate group of bits. Here 84 is in decimal number and its BCD is represented as 8 and 4. Here 4 is one digit and 8 is one digit. For 4 its binary equivalent is 0100. For 8 its binary equivalent is 1300. So from the options, the first one is the right option. Okay, how it is different from binary? In binary we have to take 84 as 1 unit, but in BCD 8 as 1 unit, 4 as 1 digit, but 84 as 1 digit in binary form, and its equivalent becomes 2 4s are 8, 2 2s are 4, that is 0, 2 2s are 4, 2 1s are 2, 0, 2 10s are, that is 1, 2 5s are 10, that is 0, 2 2s are 4, that is 1, 2 1s are 2, that is 0. That is, this is LSD, least significant bit, and this is the MSD. So for 84, this is in decimal number and its binary equivalent is 10 10 10 10 1300. Okay, it is the binary equivalent, but its BCD equivalent is, we have to take 4 as 1 digit and 8 as 1 digit. So for question number 84, the first option is the right option. Similarly for question number 85, the 2's complement can be obtained from the 1's complement by adding 1, subtracting 1, putting 1 as a leading bit and putting 0 as the leading bit. 2's complement can be obtained from 1's complement by adding 1. Okay, 2's complement is always obtained by adding 1's complement, by adding 1 to the 1's complement, so that it becomes 2's complement. So for question number 85, the first option is the right option, that is adding 1. Okay, consider one binary number system 10 10 11. Okay, for this 1's complement, the 1's complement we already know, 1's becomes zeros, zeros becomes 1's, so its 1's complement becomes for 1 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 0. Okay, this is the 1's complement form. This is in 1's complement form. Okay, and 2's complement form can be obtained by adding 1 at the LSB bit of the 1's complement. So here we are adding 1 to the LSB bit, so 0 plus 1 becomes 1 0 1 0 1 and 0. This is the 2's complement. This is the 2's complement, and 2's complement can use it for finding the negative values. So for question number 85, the first option is the right option. Number 86, A device that works in a conjunction with a computer but not as a part of it is called. First one is microprocessor, second one is hardware, the third one is memory, and the fourth one is peripheral device. Okay, when we consider computer, in that the essential component is CPU. Okay, why CPU is called as the essential component? Why? Because without the need of CPU, we are unable to execute the programs. Okay, we are unable to do the tasks. So a CPU is called as the essential component in a computer system. Okay, in CPU we have mainly microprocessor, or we can call it as processor, and also we have memory, that is RAM and ROM, and SMPS, motherboard. These are all essential part of a CPU. Okay, CPU is an essential component. In that, the microprocessor, memory, SMPS, motherboard, these are all called as the essential part. Okay, a microprocessor is nothing but a processor which processes the data. Okay, which takes the input and processes the data and execute the instruction, and it display in the corresponding output. Okay, and these are all microprocessor, memory, SMPS, and motherboard. These are all hardware devices. Okay, similarly a memory is a storage device. Okay, and in memory we have mainly RAM and ROM. But a peripheral device is not a essential component in a computer system. A microprocessor is a essential component, a hardware is a essential component, because these are all hardware devices, so it comes under hardware. So memory is also a essential part or essential component, which is also comes under CPU. But a peripheral device is not called as the essential component, because without the help of these peripheral devices also we can able to execute the program or the instruction. For example, a peripheral device, the examples are a scanner, keyboard, printer, joystick, mouse. Okay, these are all peripheral devices. These are connected externally to the computer system or the CPU. So the right option for question number 86 is the peripheral device. These are works in conjunction with a computer but not as the part of it. So a peripheral device. Okay, the question number 87, which memory is non-volatile and may be written only once? What is meant by non-volatile? Non-volatile means without the power supply also the data which is stored in a device must be present. Okay, and we know that RAM is called as the volatile memory. Why? Because a RAM is called as the volatile memory because it stores the contents until power supply is on. Whenever the power supply is off or it is interrupted, then the data stored in the RAM is vanished. Okay, so it is called as the volatile memory. And all ROMs are non-volatile because without the need of power supply also the data present in the RAM. Okay, and it is not vanished, it is permanent. So RAM is also called as the temporary memory, ROM is also called as the permanent memory. Okay, for ROM we have PROM and EPROM, E2PROM. These are the types of ROM. Okay, PROM means programmable read-only memory, EPROM means electrically and programmable read-only memory, and EEPROM or E2PROM is called as the electrically erasable and programmable read-only memory. These two are reprogrammed and it can be erased very easily. Okay, but PROM is a type of ROM which can be modified or which can be written only once. Okay, if you write or modified a program or a data in PROM, then it cannot be reprogrammed second time. So PROM is the right option for question number 87. Which memory is non-volatile? Non-volatile means PROM is a non-volatile because all ROMs are non-volatile memory. Why? Because without the help of power supply also they can store its contents. Okay. And RAM is a volatile memory. So this is not the right option. E square PROM or E square ROM. E square ROM and EPROM, these can be erased and reprogrammed several times. So these two also not a right option. So remaining option, that is PROM, is the right option. In PROM we can only one time we can modify the data. Okay. So for question number 87, fourth option is the right option. The question number 88, the major component used in second generation of computer is, we have four options: transistor, diode, vacuum tube and ICs. The first generation computers were built by using the vacuum tubes. Okay. The first generation computers were built by using vacuum tubes. Similarly, a second generation computers were built by using transistors. By using transistor technology. Similarly, third generation computers were built by using integrated circuit technologies, ICs. Similarly, fourth generation computers were built by using microprocessor technology. Similarly, fifth generation computers were built by using VLSI technology. Okay. The first generation computers were built by using vacuum tubes. The second generation computers were built by using transistor technology. The third generation computers were built by using integrated circuit technology. Similarly, fourth generation computers were built by using microprocessor technology, and fifth generation computers were built by using VLSI technology. The major component used in second generation of computer is, that is the first option, transistor, is the right option for question number 88. Coming to 89th question, a kilobyte, also referred to as KB, is equal to, we have four options: 1000 bytes, 1024 bytes, 2048, 2048 bytes, and the fourth option is 512 bytes. We know that 1 bit is equal to, it may be either 0 or 1. Okay. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Similarly, 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. Okay. 1 megabyte, 1 MB is equal to 1024 kilobytes. Similarly, 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabyte. Okay. Similarly, 1 nibble is equal to 4 bits. Okay. Similarly, 1 word is equal to 16 bits. You have to remember these points. Okay. 1 bit is equal to, it may be 0 or 1. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 kilobytes. 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabytes. Similarly, 1 nibble is equal to 4 bits. 1 word is equal to 16 bits. So in question number 89, a kilobyte, also referred to as a KB, is equal to, 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. So the right option is second one, 1024 bytes. For question number 90, which of the following is not used as a secondary storage? That is a semiconductor memory. Because this semiconductor memory, like RAM and ROM, these are fabricated in motherboard. So this cannot be used as the secondary storage. A magnetic disk, optical disk and floppy disk are used as a secondary storage, okay, but semiconductor memory is not used as the secondary storage because it is fabricated inside the motherboard. So the right option is first one for question number 90.